Recording started. This is case study number 11, Human Populations Resolution by Corey Harlow. So case study number 11 is called Human Populations. It is all about the growing problem due to the 7 billion mark that the world has now reached as far as population goes. Although the increase in population can have some advantages, it also has many negative advantages on our environment. So the first thing this particular case study talks about is some basic population terms. Population dynamics is any change in our population. Now, if we be more specific and talk about human population dynamics, we're talking about the increase or decrease in a human population size. Now, there's two things. There's exponential growth, which is when resources are not limited. There's an unlimited amount of resources, and this is how population is growing currently. And this can be graphed in a J-curve, and that just means the graph shape of the exponential growth. And this red line right here symbolizes the J-curve. Now, the opposite of J-curve is logistic growth, and this can be in the shape of an S-curve, as seen here. I drew that S-curve, so it's horrible, just to let you know. And then another term talked about in this particular case study is the Fertile Crescent, and this is the first sign of subsistence agriculture. And subsistence agriculture just simply means producing enough food just for the family. So the next thing we talk about a little bit is the timeline of population growth. So we got first the prehistoric time period, and this is when people are nomadic hunters and gatherers. There's not really an increase in population during this time period. However, the first increase in population is sparked by the last ice age, and this is because of the creation of stationary agriculture. There's now more land to work and more crops to work, and therefore we need a larger population to work these crops, and that increased it. In the 17th century, we have advances in science, medicine, agriculture, and industry. This greatly helps the human population. People aren't getting sick as much. People aren't dying as much. And that helps increase population size. In the 18th century, we have the Industrial Revolution. We have that high demand for children's labor. Therefore, family sizes are going to increase. And then finally, in the 20th century, we have the birth rates decrease, which in return just make the overall increase in population go up. Next, we talk a little bit about demographics, which I find very interesting, as I learned about these in Human Geo last year. And demography is just a population change. And there's two types of things that can change population. There's immigration, which is moving into a region. They're both immigration and immigration. But the best way to notice it, or remember it, is the I for immigration and the I into a region. So immigration is moving into a region. Immigration, on the other hand, is exiting a region. So you have the two E's. So moving away from region. So if I was moving from here to Mexico, then I would be immigrating with an E. However, if I was coming from Mexico to America, then I'd be immigrating from an I. Now, demographics are measured in birth and death rates per 1,000. And another term it talks about is human fertility, or how many children a woman could potentially have. The most important thing talked about in this section, however, is the demographic transition, as seen in this graph here on the right. There's 4 stages in demographic transition, and then a 5th stage that's legendary. The first stage is characterized by high birth rates and high death rates. Therefore, there's no real change in population. Okay, as you can see, the population growth is really not high at all. However, in stage 2, death rates begin to decrease as birth rates pretty much stay the same. Therefore, there's going to be that increase in population here. Moving into stage 3, we're still increasing population. However, the number of birth rates are decreasing along with death rates. And then there's stage 4, when birth and death rates level out and population continues to increase, just not as substantially. As you can see, this is almost straight up. This is starting to level off. And then you got stage 5, which is the legendary stage. People have not actually made it official stage. The population size actually starts to maybe decrease some due to birth rates declining less than the death rate. And you can take a minute here and fast forward or rewind to look at that graph somewhere. The last thing we talk about is the environmental problems from this human population growth. You have the competition for resources, and this will increase due to the population growth. You have natural disasters occurring, more by accident due to this population growth. You have destruction of habitats for buildings for these individuals to live in. You have degradation of habitats for buildings for these people to live in. You have global warming occurring due to the Industrial Revolution and industries and people letting off carbon. And you have quick waste, which is the wrappings from, say, your pack of meat you got at the store that you take right off and cook. That's going to hurt our environment. You have the erosion from irrigation problems. You have nutrient depletion from fertilizing. You have the use of non-renewable energy sources in factories. You have synthetic material production from factories. You have consumption of large amounts of industry and work. You have desertification and El Nino caused by global warming. Just tons of environmental problems that come about from this human population growth. So what's some resolutions to this? Properly inflate your tires. Use more renewable energy sources. Reduce the amount of packaging that you use, quick packaging. Reusable canvas bags when you go to the store. You've seen the Walmart bags that aren't plastic. Recycle materials at home. The final thing that you have to talk about is your ecological footprint, and this is just a person's impact on the environment. And if we can reduce this, then this will greatly help our population and maybe try to go against the large problem that's coming about from human population growth. I hope you enjoyed.